Okay, now even though this is a figure question and they're supposed to be really easy, this does have some extra steps that we need to deal with, and it feels like it's going to be hard. So I want to point out a couple things. First of all, it's not hard. We're going to get this really simply. But we have line references, and so that might make us think of the chronology rule, right? The idea that these line references should be in order of all the other questions. And so it probably wouldn't be A because we, it's at the beginning of the passage and we've done all the other questions about other parts of the passage. It's a good thought, but the figure questions, kind of like the double passage comparative questions, tend to break the chronology rule because they almost stand alone. They're like their own entity. And so I wouldn't really worry about the line references here. But even if you were thinking chronology rule, that's okay. It's a good place to start. But as we always do with this rule, we still read all those line references. And if we find an answer that works, we pick it, even if it breaks the chronology rule. All right? So don't be afraid to break it if you're confident that it's broken. So let's take a look here. They're asking, the data presented in the table most directly supports which claim from the passage. We're going to have to go to these 4 claims. But I want to know what I'm looking for in those claims. So I want to look at the chart first and be like, okay, what's a dumb summary of this chart? So a dumb summary, in this case, we want to get the dumbest version of what we're looking at. These are big numbers. These are small numbers. So light, more seeds than dark. That's it. I need a line that talks about that. That's my dumb summary. I don't know about this deciduous conifer muck field. I don't know what a muck field is, but that doesn't seem to matter. The most obvious thing about this is light has more seeds than dark. Stick to the easiest, dumbest idea. So now let's go to those lines, 1 through 3. Right here. Many millennia before the invention of herbicides, farmers simply plowed their fields to control weeds. Okay, not relevant to light or dark, so not relevant to us. 8 to 10. Ecologists have shown that a farmer's field can have 50,000 or more weed seeds per square meter buried beneath the soil surface. Again, not about light or dark, not relevant to us. 10 to 13. Plant physiologists have shown that seeds buried more than about 1 centimeter below the soil surface do not receive enough light to germinate. Okay, that's a little bit about light. So light seems to matter for germination. Maybe I keep that. Doesn't seem obviously right, but it seems relevant. So okay, we'll leave that in. And then D, 38 to 43. That's all the way over here. That's starting here. Thus, the germination of weed seeds would be minimized if farmers simply plowed their fields at night, when the photon fluence rate, the rate at which photons hit the surface, is below 10 to 15 photons per square meter per second. Oh, okay. So germination would be minimized at night. So between C and D, sorry, this is C, and this is D. D is actually saying the results of that chart. It's saying night is going to have less seeds because they're not going to germinate. C, it's talking about light, but it's the light and darkness thing, it's not making a comparison. Maybe that's the best way to put it. Whereas D is making a comparison, right? The germination will be minimized if you plowed at night as opposed to during the day when things are light out, right? It's much more about the comparison, which is what our dumb summary was about. So D is the better answer. It is the answer. If you picked C, not the end of the world, but I think that the big thing to take away from this question is that even though it looked like it was going to be complicated, it wasn't. Did we really have to read the full passage? No. We read these few lines, and we were very clearly looking for a very simple idea in those lines. 2 of the choices kind of mentioned it. 1 mentioned it better. That's really all we're looking for. So I still stand by my belief that graph questions, figure questions, chart questions, these are among the easiest on the reading section. There are questions that you want to just get right every single time if you can, but at the very least, if you're running out of time, even this one does not take that long once we use some dumb summaries to make it easier to understand. Really grab these questions and try to shake as many points out of them as you can. It'll help your score, and it doesn't take much effort.